His family travels miles daily to find food. Staying close is critical as calves without their families face grim prospects. The first steps are tough, but he perseveres, guided by his mother, who nurtures him for 13 long years. Unfortunately, 1 in 3 calves die in their first year, so he needs a strong family. The matriarch, often a grandmother, leads the family. Together, they work hard to provide little E with the best chance. The Mara Serengeti is home to over 150 miles of wilderness, with iconic wildlife living nearby. Raising a baby elephant isn't easy, especially as the dry season approaches. To help, Little E's aunt babysits him, allowing his mother to eat enough to produce the milk he needs. Young elephants rely on their mothers for nutrients, and if food runs low, their milk supply decreases. Little E learns to navigate through dangers like lurking lions. Family bonds are vital. They help each other survive in tough situations. Their vocal calls allow them to recognize each other even from far away. Eventually, they meet extended family members. This bond group includes relatives like aunts and cousins, all essential for protecting and nurturing the young elephants. Through play and chasing, they prepare themselves for future challenges. Elephants may have to confront human settlements or poachers to find food. Little E's family must be astute and cautious during such perilous times. At night, they plan their crossing past human settlements, a dangerous but necessary move. Elephants are renowned for their empathy and intelligence, and together they navigate their path to safety. But with their family beside them, Little E finds the courage to push through. Despite fatigue, they continue to move forward. Food becomes plentiful again, allowing the little elephant to thrive. He is now better equipped for survival, learning invaluable lessons from his family. As he grows, Little E's future as one of Africa's great bull elephants may be bright. Across the vast landscapes of Africa, few animals command attention quite like the elephant. They are enormous, powerful, intelligent, and deeply connected to the world around them. For thousands of years, elephants have shaped the landscapes they call home. They open paths through dense vegetation, create access to water, and spread seeds across enormous distances. But behind their incredible size is a surprisingly complex world, one built around family, memory, communication, and survival. Large family herd of African elephants walking together across open savanna, adult females protecting young calves, elephants of different ages moving naturally as a group, dust floating in warm sunlight, realistic wildlife behavior, cinematic documentary footage, 4K. An elephant herd is more than a group of animals moving together. It is a family. At the center of many African elephant herds are experienced females known as matriarchs. They remember where water can be found, where food grows, and which routes are safest during difficult seasons. Young elephants learn by watching them. Every movement, every decision, and every journey can become a lesson passed from one generation to the next. Young African elephant calf walking beside its mother, gently touching her with its trunk, protective herd surrounding them, close-up of curious eyes and small trunk, golden African sunset, emotional but realistic wildlife documentary, shallow depth of field, 4K. For a young elephant, the world is enormous. The adults around it provide protection and guidance. Other females may also help care for the young. This strong social bond gives elephant calves a better chance of surviving the dangers of the wild. And as the calf grows, it slowly begins to discover one of the most remarkable abilities of its species, the ability to remember. Extreme cinematic close-up of an African elephant using its trunk to pick grass and gently lift branches, detailed skin texture, natural movement, savanna background softly blurred, realistic wildlife documentary cinematography, 4K. The elephant's trunk is one of nature's most remarkable tools. It can be used to breathe, smell, touch, communicate, collect food, drink water, and interact with other elephants. With incredible control, an elephant can use its trunk to pull down a branch, or perform a much gentler task, such as touching another elephant. For an animal this large, such precision is extraordinary. Wide cinematic shot of elephants standing together on the African savanna, one elephant raising its head while others respond, subtle atmospheric vibration visualization, dramatic evening light, realistic wildlife documentary. No fantasy effects, 4K. Elephants also communicate in ways humans cannot easily hear. Some of their calls contain very low frequencies that can travel long distances across open landscapes. These sounds can help elephants maintain contact with members of their family, even when they are far apart. To us, the savanna may appear quiet, but to elephants, it can be filled with messages. Elephants moving through African woodland, pushing aside vegetation and opening a natural pathway. Birds following behind, smaller animals using the newly opened area, cinematic wildlife documentary, realistic ecology, warm natural sunlight, 4K. Elephants do more than live in the African ecosystem. They help shape it. When they feed on trees and vegetation, they can create openings in dense woodland. Their movements can create pathways used by other animals. And the seeds they carry and spread can help new plants grow in distant places. In this way, the elephant becomes an ecosystem engineer, a giant whose presence can influence the lives of countless other species. Epic wide shot of a large elephant herd traveling across the African savanna toward distant hills, golden sunset, long shadows, dust rising beneath their feet, cinematic slow-motion wildlife footage, majestic atmosphere, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. Seasons change. Rivers disappear. For elephants, survival often depends on knowledge, knowing when to move, where to go, and how to keep the family together. Their journey is a story of strength. Massive African elephant standing on a small hill overlooking the savanna at sunset, herd visible in the distance, dramatic golden sky, gentle wind moving the grass, powerful cinematic wildlife documentary composition, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. The African elephant is more than the largest land animal on Earth. It is a symbol of resilience, a keeper of memories, a protector of family, and a powerful force within one of the world's greatest ecosystems. But to truly understand these giants, we must look beyond their size. We must enter their world. A world of family, intelligence, emotion, danger, and survival. Cinematic aerial view of a large African elephant family moving together across an endless golden savanna at sunrise, adult elephants surrounding young calves, soft morning mist, acacia trees in the distance, natural wildlife behavior, photorealistic wildlife documentary, National Geographic style, 4K, 16:9. Across the vast landscapes of Africa, elephant families travel together, searching for food and water while protecting their young and facing the challenges of changing seasons. Large African elephant families standing together near a natural waterhole, mothers, sisters, older females and young calves interacting naturally, calves staying close to adults, warm golden sunlight, realistic wildlife documentary footage, detailed elephant skin, 4K. An elephant herd is much more than a group of animals moving together. It is a family. Mothers, daughters, sisters, aunts, and young calves can remain closely connected for many years. Elderly female African elephant leading her family across open savanna, several generations following behind her. Powerful close-up of her face and large ears, golden sunlight, dramatic cinematic composition, realistic wildlife behavior, 4K, 16:9. At the center of many elephant families is an experienced female known as the matriarch. Her leadership is not simply based on strength. African elephant herd traveling through an extremely dry savanna during a severe drought, cracked earth, dry grass, dusty atmosphere, elderly matriarch leading the herd toward a distant water source, cinematic wide shot, realistic wildlife documentary, 4K. When grass becomes dry and water sources disappear, an experienced matriarch may remember distant water sources and old pathways that younger elephants have never seen. When a young elephant enters the world, almost everything around it is unfamiliar. Scene 6. The whole family protects several adult female elephants surrounding young calves in a protective formation. Calves safely positioned in the center. Adults facing outward and remaining alert. African savanna background. Dramatic natural lighting. Realistic wildlife behavior. No violence. 4K. Voiceover. But the mother is not the only protector. Other females within the family may also help care for the young. Scene 7. Young elephants playing. Several young African elephant calves playfully running, gently pushing and chasing each other across a green savanna. Adults watching peacefully in the background, soft dust rising, joyful natural behavior, cinematic slow motion, photorealistic wildlife documentary, 4K. Elephant childhood is not only about survival. It is also about play. Close-up of two African elephants gently touching trunks and communicating, ears moving naturally, other family members standing nearby, warm sunset light, detailed skin texture, intimate wildlife documentary cinematography, photorealistic, 4K. Communication is another essential part of elephant society. Elephants communicate through sounds, body movements, touch, and scent. Sometimes even a gentle touch between two trunks can carry an important social message. Scene 9. When danger appears. African elephant herd suddenly becoming alert on an open savanna. Adult females moving young calves toward the center. Ears spread wide, trunks raised, tense but natural wildlife behavior, distant landscape, cinematic documentary style, no graphic violence, 4K. When danger appears, the entire family can react within moments. Adults become alert, calves move closer to the herd, and larger females may position themselves between the young and the potential threat. Together, the family becomes a powerful defensive group. Scene 10. Generations together. Multiple generations of African elephants standing together beside a peaceful waterhole at sunset. Elderly matriarch, adult females, young elephants and tiny calves, golden reflections in the water, emotional cinematic wildlife documentary, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. An elephant family can be thought of as a living library of experience. Large elephant family walking across a vast African plain toward distant mountains during golden hour. Calves walking between adult females, long shadows, dust floating in the air, epic aerial cinematic shot, photorealistic wildlife documentary, 4K. As the young elephants grow, they become more independent and gain experience of their own. But the knowledge they learn from the family remains with them. Powerful elderly elephant matriarch standing with her family on a hill overlooking the African savanna at sunset. Young calves close to their mothers, dramatic golden sky, peaceful atmosphere, epic wildlife documentary ending, photorealistic, cinematic 4K, 16:9. For elephants, family is not simply about staying together. It is about protection, learning, memory, and cooperation. Their greatest strength may not be their enormous size. But family is only the beginning. Because elephants possess another remarkable ability, the ability to learn, remember, communicate, and solve problems. A pregnant African elephant walks slowly with her family through tall golden grass. Several adult female elephants surround her. Young calves walk nearby. Long before an elephant takes its first breath, its journey has already begun. During this remarkable period, the developing calf grows and prepares for life in one of the world's most demanding environments. Peaceful African elephant family gathered in a natural savanna environment. Young calves stay close to the adults. The herd appears calm and protective. When the time finally comes, the mother remains close to her family. Other females may stay nearby, creating a quiet circle of protection. And when the calf finally enters the world, a remarkable new chapter begins. The mother gently touches the calf with her trunk while several adult females stand nearby. Focus on natural family behavior. No graphic birth details. Soft sunrise lighting, emotional but realistic wildlife documentary, cinematic close-ups, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. The first moments of life are challenging. Its legs are still unsteady, and its trunk is difficult to control. But it is not alone. Its mother stays close while experienced members of the family remain nearby. Close-up cinematic shot of a newborn African elephant calf slowly attempting to stand. The calf pushes against the ground while its mother stands immediately beside it and gently touches it with her trunk. Adult elephants remain in the background. Slow natural movement, soft morning light, realistic wildlife behavior, premium documentary style, 4K. Slowly, the calf pushes against the ground. It tries again. They are the beginning of a lifetime of learning. Young African elephant calf taking its first uncertain steps through short grass. The mother walks slowly beside it. The calf briefly loses balance, regains its footing, and continues walking. Other elephants follow behind. The calf must quickly learn how to move with the herd. Every movement helps the young elephant gain strength and confidence. Medium cinematic tracking shot of an African elephant mother walking through tall golden grass while her small calf stays very close beside her. The calf occasionally touches its mother's body with its trunk. The rest of the herd moves slowly behind them. The young elephant stays close to its mother. When she walks, the calf follows. When she stops, the calf rests nearby. By watching her every movement, the young elephant begins to understand how to survive. Detailed cinematic close-up of a curious African elephant calf experimenting with its trunk. The calf touches grass, small branches, soil, and its mother's leg. It moves its trunk awkwardly and tries different movements. Natural playful behavior, shallow depth of field, realistic elephant anatomy, premium wildlife documentary, photorealistic, 4K. One of the most fascinating lessons is learning how to control the trunk. An adult elephant can use its trunk with incredible precision. But a young calf must learn through practice. At first, its movements can be awkward. Slowly, coordination improves. Young African elephant calf standing beside adult elephants feeding on green grass and leaves. It drops some grass and tries again. Its mother remains nearby. Natural African savanna vegetation, realistic animal behavior, cinematic documentary footage, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. As the calf grows, curiosity leads it toward food. It watches adults feeding on grass, leaves, bark, and other vegetation. Then it begins to experiment. It pulls at grass, investigates leaves, and copies the movements of older elephants. Every attempt becomes another lesson. 3 young African elephant calves playing together in an open grassy area. They run after one another, gently push with their heads, wave their trunks, and chase each other around. Adult elephants calmly watch from a short distance. Small clouds of dust rise naturally from their footsteps. Bright daylight, cinematic slow motion, joyful but realistic wildlife documentary, photorealistic, 4K. Young elephants spend much of their childhood exploring and playing. They chase each other, gently push one another, splash in water, and investigate objects around them. Play helps them develop coordination, confidence, strength, and social skills. Young African elephant calf interacting with older juvenile elephants and adult females. The calf approaches another elephant, pauses, then follows an older juvenile. Adult females calmly observe the interaction. Natural herd behavior, peaceful African savanna, warm afternoon light, realistic documentary cinematography, photorealistic, 4K. An elephant calf grows up surrounded by teachers. Older females demonstrate how to behave within the herd. Other young elephants become playmates. Through thousands of interactions, the calf learns when to approach, when to move away, and how to respond to different situations. Several large adult female African elephants suddenly become alert. They move toward a group of young calves and form a protective semicircle around them. The calves move toward the center while adults face outward and carefully observe the surrounding savanna. Dramatic natural lighting, realistic wildlife documentary, cinematic 4K, 16:9. The African wilderness can be unpredictable. Young elephants may face predators, extreme weather, disease, and periods of drought. When the herd senses danger, adults may gather around the calves and protect them. Large African elephant family traveling across a changing landscape. An elderly matriarch leads the herd while young calves follow closely. Show distant hills, trees, dry riverbeds, and a small water source. Mix cinematic aerial shots with ground-level tracking shots. Photorealistic wildlife documentary, 4K, 16:9. One of the most important lessons is learning the landscape. Experienced elephants may already know the answers. Young calves watch, follow, and slowly build their own memories. Begin with a tiny calf walking beside its mother, then transition to the same elephant as a stronger juvenile. Keep the same family environment and recognizable mother. Show different seasons across the African savanna. As the years pass, the small calf becomes stronger. Its legs become more powerful. Its trunk becomes more precise. The playful youngster slowly begins to resemble the adults around it. Young female African elephant walking beside her mother and interacting with smaller calves. Multiple generations of elephants travel together across the savanna. The older female calmly guides the younger elephant. Warm golden sunset light, peaceful family atmosphere, natural wildlife behavior, emotional cinematic documentary, photorealistic, 4K. For female elephants, family bonds can remain important throughout life. A young female may eventually become a mother herself. And the lessons she learned as a calf can become lessons for the next generation. Epic wide aerial shot of several generations of African elephants gathered beside a peaceful waterhole at sunset. An elderly matriarch stands with adult females, young adults, juveniles, and tiny calves. Some elephants drink water while others stand close together. Golden reflections on the water, dramatic sky, peaceful atmosphere, premium wildlife documentary, photorealistic, cinematic 4K, 16:9. Every elephant begins life vulnerable. But surrounded by family, it gains strength, confidence, and understanding. Slow cinematic tracking shot of a young African elephant calf walking beside its mother across a vast savanna at sunset. The camera gradually pulls upward into a wide aerial shot revealing the entire herd moving together toward the horizon. The story of an elephant's childhood is not simply a story of growing bigger. It is a story of learning. Every day adds another lesson. Every journey adds another memory. Every interaction strengthens another social connection. And one day, the tiny calf that once struggled to stand may become an experienced member of the herd. As elephants grow older, their remarkable mind. 3 young African elephant calves playing together in an open grassy area. They run after one another, gently push with their heads, wave their trunks, and chase each other around. Adult elephants calmly watch from a short distance. Small clouds of dust rise naturally from their footsteps. Bright daylight, cinematic slow motion, joyful but realistic wildlife documentary, photorealistic, 4K. Young elephants spend much of their childhood exploring and playing. They chase each other, gently push one another, splash in water, and investigate objects around them. Play helps them develop coordination, confidence, strength, and social skills. Young African elephant calf interacting with older juvenile elephants and adult females. The calf approaches another elephant, pauses, then follows an older juvenile. Adult females calmly observe the interaction. Natural herd behavior, peaceful African savanna, warm afternoon light, realistic documentary cinematography, photorealistic, 4K. An elephant calf grows up surrounded by teachers. Older females demonstrate how to behave within the herd. Other young elephants become playmates. Through thousands of interactions, the calf learns when to approach, when to move away, and how to respond to different situations. Several large adult female African elephants suddenly become alert. They move toward a group of young calves and form a protective semicircle around them. The calves move toward the center while adults face outward and carefully observe the surrounding savanna. Dramatic natural lighting, realistic wildlife documentary, cinematic 4K, 16:9. The African wilderness can be unpredictable. Young elephants may face predators, extreme weather, disease, and periods of drought. When the herd senses danger, adults may gather around the calves and protect them. Large African elephant family traveling across a changing landscape. An elderly matriarch leads the herd while young calves follow closely. Show distant hills, trees, dry riverbeds, and a small water source. Mix cinematic aerial shots with ground-level tracking shots. Photorealistic wildlife documentary, 4K, 16:9. One of the most important lessons is learning the landscape. Experienced elephants may already know the answers. Young calves watch, follow, and slowly build their own memories. Begin with a tiny calf walking beside its mother, then transition to the same elephant as a stronger juvenile. Keep the same family environment and recognizable mother. Show different seasons across the African savanna. As the years pass, the small calf becomes stronger. Its legs become more powerful. Its trunk becomes more precise. The playful youngster slowly begins to resemble the adults around it. Young female African elephant walking beside her mother and interacting with smaller calves. Multiple generations of elephants travel together across the savanna. The older female calmly guides the younger elephant. Warm golden sunset light, peaceful family atmosphere, natural wildlife behavior, emotional cinematic documentary, photorealistic, 4K. For female elephants, family bonds can remain important throughout life. A young female may eventually become a mother herself. And the lessons she learned as a calf can become lessons for the next generation. Epic wide aerial shot of several generations of African elephants gathered beside a peaceful waterhole at sunset. An elderly matriarch stands with adult females, young adults, juveniles, and tiny calves. Some elephants drink water while others stand close together. Golden reflections on the water, dramatic sky, peaceful atmosphere, premium wildlife documentary, photorealistic, cinematic 4K, 16:9. Every elephant begins life vulnerable. But surrounded by family, it gains strength, confidence, and understanding. Slow cinematic tracking shot of a young African elephant calf walking beside its mother across a vast savanna at sunset. The camera gradually pulls upward into a wide aerial shot revealing the entire herd moving together toward the horizon. The story of an elephant's childhood is not simply a story of growing bigger. It is a story of learning. Every day adds another lesson. Every journey adds another memory. Every interaction strengthens another social connection. And one day, the tiny calf that once struggled to stand may become an experienced member of the herd. As elephants grow older, their remarkable minds become even more focus on its intelligent eyes, large ears, detailed natural skin texture, and slow breathing. Golden morning light, soft background, realistic wildlife behavior, premium nature documentary, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. When people think about elephants, their enormous size is usually the first thing that comes to mind. But behind that massive body is an extraordinary mind. Elephants can learn from experience, remember important places, recognize individuals, and adapt to changing situations. Young African elephant calf carefully watching an older female elephant use her trunk to collect grass and leaves. The calf slowly attempts to copy the adult's movements. Other family members feed peacefully in the background. Natural African savanna, morning sunlight, realistic animal behavior, cinematic wildlife documentary, 4K. Much of an elephant's knowledge comes through observation. Young elephants watch older members of the herd and gradually copy what they see. A simple action, repeated many times, can become an important survival skill. Elderly African elephant matriarch walking slowly across a vast landscape while younger elephants follow behind. The camera moves from a close-up of the matriarch to a wide aerial view of the herd. Distant hills, dry grass, dramatic sky, cinematic wildlife documentary, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. Memory is one of the elephant's most remarkable abilities. An experienced elephant may remember locations, routes, water sources, and environmental conditions from years earlier. During difficult seasons, those memories can help guide an entire family. Large elephant herd traveling across a severe drought landscape. An elderly matriarch leads the herd toward a distant hidden waterhole. The camera follows the herd from behind and then reveals the water in the distance. Water can determine whether a herd survives a difficult season. When familiar waterholes disappear, an experienced elephant may rely on memories of distant water sources. The youngest members follow, learning the landscape as they travel. Several African elephants meeting at a peaceful waterhole. Two elephants gently touch trunks while other family members approach and interact. Young calves stay close to their mothers. Warm afternoon sunlight, detailed elephant faces, natural social behavior, intimate wildlife documentary cinematography, photorealistic, 4K. Elephants live within complex social networks. They can recognize members of their family and respond differently to familiar and unfamiliar individuals. Years of shared experience can create strong social bonds that remain important throughout their lives. Wide cinematic shot of an African elephant herd spread across a vast open savanna. One elephant stands on a small rise while distant members of the herd are visible far away. Shows subtle ear movements, raised trunks, and natural body signals. Expansive landscape, cinematic wildlife documentary, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. Communication is another sign of their intelligence. Elephants use a combination of vocalizations, body movements, touch, and scent. Some of their low-frequency calls can travel long distances, allowing elephants to exchange information even when members of a group are far apart. African elephant standing completely still in the savanna, ears spread wide and trunk raised as it carefully detects distant sounds and scents. Grass moves gently in the wind. The elephant slowly turns its head and surveys the landscape. An elephant does not simply move through its environment. It constantly gathers information. Sounds, smells, movement, weather, and changes in the landscape can all provide clues. Its senses help build a detailed understanding of the world around it. African elephant using its trunk to move branches and reach vegetation in a woodland environment. The elephant carefully pushes one branch aside, reaches for leaves, and adjusts its position to access food. Detailed trunk movement, natural behavior, cinematic close-up, premium wildlife documentary, photorealistic, 4K. Elephants are also capable of solving practical problems. Their trunks give them extraordinary control over objects. They can move branches, reach difficult vegetation, manipulate materials, and find different ways to obtain food. Show precise trunk movements as the elephant moves the branch and reaches nearby vegetation. Keep the behavior realistic and documentary-like. Natural daylight, close-up wildlife cinematography, photorealistic, 4K. In some situations, elephants have been observed using objects in useful ways. Large elephant herd moving through changing African environments. Begin with lush green grassland after rainfall, then transition to a dry savanna as the season changes. The herd changes direction and searches for water and vegetation. Cinematic aerial transition, realistic landscape, photorealistic wildlife documentary, 4K, 16:9. Their ability to learn from previous experiences can help them respond when familiar conditions suddenly become different. Several young elephant calves watching adult elephants at a waterhole. The calves imitate the adults by touching and drinking water with their trunks. One calf experiments with its trunk while another watches. Multiple generations of elephants nearby, warm natural light, realistic wildlife behavior, cinematic documentary, 4K. Young elephants develop their abilities through years of observation and practice. Every journey, every interaction, and every challenge adds another piece of knowledge. Several African elephants standing closely together and gently touching trunks. A mother and calf interact while other family members remain nearby. Show subtle ear movements, trunk touches, and calm social behavior. Elephant intelligence is also deeply connected to their social lives. They remain connected through touch and communication, recognize familiar individuals, and respond to the behavior of other members of their group. Their relationships help them navigate the world around them. Elderly elephant matriarch walking at the front of a large family herd. Younger elephants follow closely behind her across an enormous African savanna. The camera starts behind the herd and slowly rises into a dramatic aerial shot. Golden hour sunlight, distant mountains, cinematic wildlife documentary, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. Perhaps the most remarkable part of elephant intelligence is how individual experience can benefit the entire family. An old elephant's knowledge can guide younger generations. What one elephant has learned can become valuable information for many others. Large African elephant herd finally reaching a beautiful waterhole after traveling through dry savanna. Elephants drink deeply, use their trunks to collect water, and gently spray themselves. Young calves drink beside their mothers. For elephants, intelligence is not simply about solving puzzles or remembering the past. Powerful cinematic close-up of an elderly African elephant looking across the vast savanna. Slowly transition from its eye to a wide view of the entire herd behind it. Epic aerial shot of a large African elephant herd traveling together across the savanna at sunset. The elderly matriarch leads while adult females and young calves follow. Peaceful, majestic, emotional wildlife documentary ending, photorealistic, cinematic 4K, 16:9. But there is another remarkable part of elephant life. Their world is filled with sounds, signals, touches, and social connections. In the next chapter, we will explore how elephants communicate and maintain their powerful social bonds. Scene 1. The language of elephants. Cinematic close-up of two African elephants standing face to face on the savanna, gently touching trunks and moving their ears. Other elephants stand peacefully in the background. Golden morning light, realistic natural behavior, premium wildlife documentary, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. For elephants, communication is essential to survival. They do not rely on a single language. Instead, they use sounds, body movements, touch, scent, and other signals to stay connected with one another. Large African elephant herds standing across an open savanna while several elephants raise their trunks and produce natural vocalizations. Show close-up shots of moving mouths and trunks followed by a wide landscape view. Some elephant calls are loud and powerful enough for humans to hear clearly. These sounds can signal excitement, warning, distress, or social interaction. Every sound can carry information about what is happening within the herd. Scene 3. Low-frequency calls. Wide cinematic shot of an African elephant standing alone on a small rise while another elephant herd is visible far across the savanna. Subtle atmospheric waves and distant landscape emphasize long-distance communication. Golden evening light, realistic documentary style, photorealistic, 4K. But elephants also communicate with sounds that are difficult for humans to hear. This allows elephants to communicate even when members of a family are far apart. Scene 4. Listening for distant elephants. African elephant standing completely still in tall grass, ears spread wide, carefully listening to distant sounds. The elephant slowly raises its head and turns toward the horizon. Close-up of the ears followed by a wide savanna shot. An elephant can stop, listen, and respond to sounds coming from far away. A herd may appear silent to human observers while elephants are actually exchanging information across the landscape. Scene 5. Trunk to trunk. Two adult African elephants gently touching trunks in a peaceful greeting. A young calf approaches and touches the trunk of another adult. Several family members stand nearby. Warm sunlight, detailed elephant skin, emotional but realistic wildlife behavior, photorealistic 4K. Touch is another important part of elephant communication. Elephants may gently touch trunks, faces, or bodies when greeting one another. These physical interactions can strengthen social bonds and help maintain relationships within the family. Scene 6. Mother and calf. African elephant mother standing beside her young calf. The calf gently touches its mother's trunk and side while the mother responds calmly. The pair walks together through tall grass. Soft golden afternoon light, intimate wildlife documentary, cinematic close-ups, 4K. The bond between a mother and her calf is built for constant interaction. Touch can provide reassurance, guidance, and social connection. The calf learns from its mother while remaining physically close to her during its early years. Scene 7. Body language. Several African elephants interacting naturally. One elephant spreads its ears while another raises its trunk. A young calf moves closer to an adult. Show different body positions and movements through several cinematic shots. Realistic wildlife behavior, African savanna, 4K. Elephants also communicate through body language. The position of their ears, trunks, heads, and bodies can reveal changes in their behavior. By observing these signals, elephants can understand how other members of the herd are responding. African elephant herds suddenly becoming alert. Adult elephants raise their heads, spread their ears, and closely observe the surrounding landscape. Young calves move toward the center of the group. No attack or violence. Dramatic natural lighting, cinematic wildlife documentary, photorealistic 4K. When something unfamiliar appears, the herd can become alert within seconds. Adults may raise their heads, spread their ears, and investigate the surroundings. Young calves often move closer to the adults while the herd assesses the situation. Large African elephant family walking closely together across open grassland. Mothers walk beside calves while older females remain near the group. The camera tracks alongside the herd, showing close social spacing and natural interactions. Golden hour lighting, cinematic 4K. Communication helps elephants remain connected as they travel. A family may spread out while feeding, but the animals continue to monitor one another. Signals and calls help maintain contact and keep the group coordinated. Scene 10. Reunion. Two groups of African elephants approaching each other near a waterhole. The elephants become excited, raise their trunks, touch one another, and move together peacefully. Young calves remain close to adults. Beautiful sunset lighting, emotional wildlife documentary, photorealistic 4K. When elephants that have been separated meet again, their behavior can become especially energetic. They may touch trunks, move their ears, make sounds, and remain close together. These reunions demonstrate the importance of social relationships in elephant life. Scene 11. Social learning. Young elephant calves observing several adult elephants interacting near a waterhole. The calves carefully watch the adults and then imitate their movements. Multiple generations of elephants visible together. Natural African environment, cinematic documentary, photorealistic 4K. Young elephants learn communication by watching older members of the herd. They observe how adults respond to different situations and gradually develop their own social skills. This learning process continues for years. Scene 12. The role of the matriarch. Experienced elderly female elephant matriarch standing at the front of her family herd. Younger elephants and calves gather behind her. The matriarch turns toward the herd and begins walking while the others follow. Vast African savanna, dramatic sunset, cinematic wildlife documentary, 4K. The matriarch can play an important role in keeping the family organized. Her experience helps the herd make decisions about movement, water, food, and safety. Younger elephants learn by following her example. Scene 13. Social bonds. Multiple generations of African elephants resting together beside a waterhole. Mothers stand beside calves, young elephants interact with one another, and older females remain nearby. Peaceful atmosphere, soft sunset light, intimate wildlife documentary, photorealistic, 4K. Elephant society is built around long-lasting social bonds. Families can remain connected for many years, sharing journeys, resources, experiences, and protection. These relationships help create one of the most complex social systems among land mammals. Scene 14. Communication across the savanna. Epic wide aerial view of several elephant groups spread across a huge African landscape. One herd moves through grassland while another group is visible in the distance. Show elephants raising trunks and moving across different parts of the landscape. Cinematic aerial wildlife documentary, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. Across the enormous African landscape, communication allows elephants to remain connected beyond what human eyes can easily see. Sounds, scents, and movements help them understand where others are and what may be happening around them. Scene 15. A family united. Large elephant family gathering together beside a peaceful waterhole at sunset. Adult females surround several young calves. Elephants gently touch trunks and stand close together. Golden reflections on the water, dramatic sky, peaceful emotional atmosphere, premium wildlife documentary, 4K. Communication is much more than exchanging information. It helps maintain trust, strengthen relationships, protect the young, and keep the family united. For elephants, staying connected can be essential to survival. Scene 16. Cinematic ending. Majestic African elephant herd slowly walking across the savanna toward a glowing sunset. The elderly matriarch leads while mothers and calves follow closely. The camera begins at ground level and gradually rises into a wide aerial view of the entire herd and landscape. Emotional cinematic wildlife documentary ending, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. The world of elephants is filled with communication. A distant call. A gentle touch. A movement of the ears. A raised trunk. A familiar scent. Each signal can carry a message. And together, these signals allow elephants to remain connected across generations and across vast landscapes. Their communication reveals something extraordinary. Elephants do not simply live beside one another. They live as a community. They remember one another. They learn from one another. And they depend on one another. But communication is only one part of their remarkable social world. In the next chapter, we will follow elephants through one of the greatest challenges they face. The search for food and water across a changing African landscape. Part 6, Food, Water, and the Struggle for Survival. The daily search for food. Wide cinematic sunrise shot of a large African elephant herd moving slowly across a vast savanna in search of food. Adult elephants and young calves walk through tall golden grass. Acacia trees and distant hills fill the background. Natural wildlife movement, premium nature documentary, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. For an elephant, every day begins with a basic necessity: finding enough food to survive. Their enormous bodies require huge amounts of vegetation, so much of their lives are spent walking, feeding, and searching for the next meal. What elephants eat. Detailed close-up sequence of African elephants feeding naturally on fresh grass, leaves, small branches, bark, and other vegetation. Show different elephants using their trunks to collect food and place it into their mouths. Lush African woodland and grassland, realistic animal behavior, cinematic wildlife documentary, 4K. Elephants are herbivores. Their diet can include grasses, leaves, branches, bark, roots, and other plant material. What they eat depends greatly on the landscape and the season. The powerful trunk. Extreme close-up of an African elephant using its trunk with precision to pull individual pieces of grass from the ground. The elephant gathers several mouthfuls and feeds calmly. Detailed trunk movement, realistic elephant anatomy, natural daylight, photorealistic wildlife documentary, 4K. The trunk is one of the elephant's most important tools for feeding. It can grasp vegetation, pull grass from the ground, reach leaves from branches, and bring food directly to the mouth. Feeding in the grassland. Large African elephant herd spreading across a green grassland while feeding. Mothers feed beside their calves while older elephants move slowly between patches of vegetation. Camera moves from ground level to a wide aerial shot. Peaceful natural environment, cinematic documentary, 4K. When fresh grass is available, elephants may spend hours feeding across open grasslands. The herd moves gradually from one area to another, constantly searching for the most nutritious vegetation. Feeding in the woodland. African elephants moving through a woodland area and feeding on leaves and low branches. One elephant reaches upward with its trunk while another gently pulls vegetation from a tree. Sunlight passes through the branches, creating natural highlights and shadows. Photorealistic, cinematic wildlife documentary, 4K. When grass becomes less abundant, elephants can change their diet. Woodland areas provide leaves, branches, and other plant material. Their ability to feed from different types of vegetation helps them survive changing conditions. The need for water. Large elephant herd arriving at a peaceful African waterhole after a long journey. Elephants immediately begin drinking with their trunks. Young calves drink beside their mothers. Elephants need regular access to water, especially during the hottest and driest periods of the year. Drinking with the trunk. Detailed close-up of an adult African elephant filling its trunk with water and carefully transferring the water into its mouth. Nearby elephants repeat the same behavior. Young calves watch and learn. Natural waterhole environment, slow cinematic movement, photorealistic 4K. Water is drawn into the trunk and then transferred into the mouth. Young elephants learn this technique by watching older members of the family. Cooling down African elephants standing beside a waterhole on a hot afternoon. Several elephants spray water over their heads and backs with their trunks. Others stand partly in shallow water. Young calves play near the edge. Bright sunlight, natural behavior, cinematic wildlife documentary, 4K. Water provides more than hydration. On hot days, elephants can use it to help cool their bodies. They may spray water over themselves or spend time standing in shallow water. African elephants using their trunks to throw soft dust over their backs and sides in a dry savanna. Another elephant stands beside a muddy waterhole and covers its body with wet mud. Golden afternoon light, detailed skin texture, realistic natural behavior, photorealistic 4K. Dust and mud can also become part of an elephant's daily routine. Elephants may cover their bodies with dust or mud, creating a natural protective layer against the harsh environment. The dry season wide cinematic view of an African savanna during severe dry season. Cracked earth, dry grass, dusty air, sparse trees, and a large elephant herd slowly walking across the landscape. Young calves stay close to adult females. Dramatic sky, realistic wildlife documentary, 4K. But the dry season can transform the landscape. Grass becomes scarce, rivers shrink, and familiar water sources may disappear. For an elephant herd, finding enough food and water becomes a daily challenge. Elderly elephant matriarch leading her family across a dry landscape. Younger elephants follow closely behind. The herd moves along an ancient-looking natural path toward distant trees and hills. This is where experience becomes extremely valuable. An older elephant may remember distant water sources and feeding areas from previous seasons. Her knowledge can guide the entire family through difficult conditions. A long journey for water. Large elephant family walking for many miles across dry African terrain toward a distant water source. Show wide landscape, dusty footprints, tired but steady movement, calves walking beside mothers. Epic cinematic wildlife documentary, realistic natural behavior, 4K, 16:9. Sometimes the herd must travel long distances to reach water. The journey can take hours or even days as elephants move between feeding grounds and reliable water sources. Protecting the young adult female elephants walking closely around several young calves during a long journey across dry savanna. The calves remain protected in the middle of the group while larger adults walk around them. Warm sunset light, emotional but realistic wildlife documentary, photorealistic 4K. During these difficult journeys, the young are especially vulnerable. Mothers and other adult females remain close to the calves, helping them stay with the herd as the family continues forward. Finally finding water. Epic cinematic reveal of an elephant herd reaching a hidden waterhole after traveling across dry savanna. The elephants become visibly energized, move toward the water, drink deeply, and gather peacefully around the shoreline. Golden sunset reflections, photorealistic wildlife documentary, 4K, 16:9. Then, after a long journey, the landscape changes. A water source finally appears. The herd moves toward it, and the struggle of the journey gives way to relief. Life returns. African elephant herd drinking and bathing together at a beautiful waterhole during sunset. Young calves play in shallow water while adults drink and spray themselves. At the water's edge, the herd can rest, drink, and recover. Young elephants play while adults remain alert. For a moment, the pressure of survival becomes less intense. Survival never stops. Majestic aerial shot of the elephant herd leaving the waterhole at sunset and continuing across the vast African landscape. But the search never truly ends. Tomorrow, the elephants will need food again. Soon, they will need water again. The seasons will change. The landscape will change. And the herd will continue moving. And sometimes, that journey can stretch across enormous distances. In the next chapter, we follow the elephants on one of their greatest challenges, the long journey across the African landscape. The journey begins epic cinematic sunrise over the African savanna. A large elephant herd begins moving across an enormous grassland. An experienced elderly matriarch leads while adult females and young calves follow closely behind. For elephants, movement is a way of life. When food becomes scarce or water sources begin to disappear, an entire family may begin a long journey across the landscape. The destination may be far away, but the herd moves together. Following an ancient path, a large elephant herd walking along a natural trail through African grassland. The matriarch walks at the front while younger elephants follow in a loose line. Cinematic tracking shot, realistic wildlife behavior, photorealistic 4K. Many elephant journeys follow familiar routes. Experienced elephants may remember pathways used during previous seasons. These routes can connect feeding grounds, forests, rivers, and reliable water sources. The matriarch leads close up of an elderly African elephant matriarch walking confidently at the front of her family. The camera moves beside her face and then reveals the herd following behind. Her ears move naturally and her trunk occasionally touches the ground. Golden sunlight, cinematic wildlife documentary, 4K. At the heart of the journey is experience. The matriarch may have traveled across the same landscape many times before. Crossing open grassland, young calves remain close to adult females. The herd creates a long moving line across the golden landscape. Camera slowly flies above and follows their direction. The journey can take the elephants across enormous open spaces. For hours, the herd may continue walking, stopping occasionally to feed before moving forward again. Searching for food along the way, elephant herd pauses during migration to feed on fresh grass and nearby vegetation. Adult elephants use their trunks to gather grass while calves explore nearby. After feeding, the herd slowly begins moving again. Natural African landscape, realistic behavior, cinematic documentary, 4K. Migration is not simply a race toward a destination. Elephants feed along the way. Whenever vegetation is available, the herd stops to eat before continuing its journey. Crossing a dry riverbed, large elephant herd crossing a wide dry riverbed during the dry season. Cracked earth and pale sand cover the ground. The matriarch carefully leads the group across while calves stay between adult females. Low-angle cinematic shots followed by an aerial view, photorealistic 4K. The landscape can become difficult. Dry riverbeds, rocky ground, thick vegetation, and steep terrain can all become obstacles. Yet the herd continues, adapting its movement to the environment. Young calves on the journey, young African elephant calves walking beside their mothers during a long journey. Adult females remain close and slow their pace when necessary. For young elephants, a long journey can be especially demanding. Their smaller bodies cannot always keep the same pace as the adults. The family remains together, giving the youngest members time to rest and continue. Elephant herd entering a dense African woodland. Large elephants carefully move between trees while calves follow through the vegetation. Sunlight filters through leaves, creating moving patterns of light and shadow. Open grasslands can give way to woodland, where elephants must navigate trees and search for different types of vegetation. Adult elephants move slowly and confidently while young elephants follow their mothers. Elephants adjust their speed and movements as they travel, relying on experience and cooperation to keep the family together. Searching for water elephant herd traveling through dry savanna under intense afternoon sunlight. Several elephants raise their trunks and investigate the air while the matriarch changes direction toward distant trees. The herd follows her. The herd searches for signs of moisture, vegetation, and familiar landmarks that may lead them toward a reliable water source. Elderly elephant matriarch suddenly stops on a small rise and looks toward a distant green area. The herd gathers behind her. Camera slowly pans from the elephant's face to a distant line of trees and a hidden water source. Trees appear in the distance. The elephants have reached an area where water may be nearby. The final approach large elephant family walking with renewed energy toward a beautiful waterhole surrounded by green vegetation. Young calves stay close to their mothers. The camera moves backward as the herd approaches, revealing the water ahead. After a long journey, the herd approaches its destination. The elephants move toward the water together, with the youngest members protected in the middle of the group. Arriving at the water epic cinematic reveal as the elephant herd reaches a large natural waterhole. Adults immediately begin drinking while young calves follow their mothers into shallow water. Elephants use their trunks to collect water and spray themselves. Beautiful sunset reflections, photorealistic 4K. The elephants drink deeply, cool themselves, and gather together at the water's edge. After days of movement, the family can finally rest. Rest after the journey. Peaceful elephant herd resting beside a waterhole during sunset. Some elephants drink while others stand quietly. Young calves play gently in shallow water. The waterhole becomes more than a source of hydration. It becomes a place where the herd can recover, feed, interact, and prepare for the next stage of life. The journey continues morning after the elephant's arrival. The herd slowly leaves the waterhole and begins moving across a greener landscape. The camera follows from behind and then rises into an aerial shot. Seasons continue to change. Food becomes scarce again. And eventually, the herd must move once more. The Great Journey epic final aerial shot of a massive African elephant herd traveling across a breathtaking landscape at sunset. The herd moves toward distant mountains while golden sunlight illuminates the grassland. The camera rises higher and higher until the elephants become small against the enormous African wilderness. Threats: humans and conservation. A changing worldwide cinematic aerial shot of an African elephant herd moving across a beautiful savanna while the surrounding landscape gradually transitions from natural wilderness to areas affected by human development. Realistic environmental documentary, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. For thousands of years, elephants have moved across enormous landscapes. But today, the world around them is changing. Natural habitats are becoming increasingly divided, making it more difficult for elephants to follow the routes their ancestors once traveled. Loss of habitat: an elephant herd remains in the remaining natural habitat. Clearly show the contrast between wilderness and developed land. Realistic conservation documentary, photorealistic, 4K. One of the greatest challenges is habitat loss. As human communities, farms, roads, and other developments expand, elephants can lose access to parts of their traditional range. A broken migration route: large elephant herd approaching a landscape where a road crosses through their traditional movement route. The elephants stop at a safe distance and observe the surroundings. Vehicles remain far away. Cinematic wildlife conservation footage, realistic, 4K. Migration routes are especially important. Elephants may need to travel long distances between feeding areas and water sources. When these routes become blocked, reaching essential resources can become much more difficult. Searching for water: African elephant herd walking through a dry landscape while searching for a water source. The vegetation is sparse and the ground is dusty. An elderly matriarch leads the group toward distant trees. Young calves remain close to adult females. Dramatic but realistic conservation documentary, 4K. Climate and changing weather patterns can add another challenge. Longer dry periods can reduce available water and vegetation, forcing elephants to travel farther in search of what they need. Elephants and farming areas. Peaceful African landscape where natural savanna borders agricultural fields. A small elephant herd remains on the edge of the natural habitat while farmers work safely in the distant background. Respectful conservation documentary style, photorealistic, 4K. Sometimes elephant routes overlap with areas used by people for farming. This can create difficult situations for both communities and wildlife. Finding ways for people and elephants to share the landscape is an important conservation challenge. The human-elephant boundary-wide cinematic shot of an African village and nearby elephant habitat separated by open grassland. Elephants move peacefully along the edge of their natural range while people remain at a safe distance. The challenge is not simply about choosing between people and elephants. Large African elephant herd moving through a protected wildlife reserve with open grasslands, woodland, rivers, and distant mountains. National parks, wildlife reserves, and conservation areas can protect habitat and allow elephants to move, feed, and raise their young with fewer human pressures. Wildlife conservation team observing elephants from a safe distance inside an African reserve. Rangers use binoculars and carefully record observations while elephants move peacefully in the background. Professional conservation work, realistic documentary photography, natural lighting, 4K. Conservation teams work across many landscapes to monitor elephant populations, protect habitats, and understand how herds move. Their work helps scientists and local communities make better decisions about protecting wildlife. Tracking elephant movement. Conservation researchers studying elephant tracks and observing a herd from a safe distance. Show footprints in soft soil, natural trails, and researchers recording information in notebooks and equipment. Elephants visible in the far background. Cinematic environmental documentary, photorealistic, 4K. Understanding elephant movement is especially important. By studying tracks, behavior, and migration patterns, researchers can identify important corridors and areas that elephants depend on throughout the year. Protecting elephant corridors. Epic aerial view of a natural wildlife corridor connecting two large protected areas. An elephant herd travels safely through the corridor between forests and grasslands. Show the landscape continuing across a broad, uninterrupted area. Hopeful conservation documentary, photorealistic, 4K, 16:9. Wildlife corridors can help reconnect habitats that have become separated. When elephants can safely move between protected areas, they have greater access to food, water, and seasonal resources. A safe family. Peaceful elephant family walking through a protected African landscape. Mothers walk beside calves while older females lead the group. When elephants have enough space, food, water, and protection, families can thrive. Calves can grow, young elephants can learn, and older members can continue passing knowledge to the next generation. The importance of every generation. Multiple generations of African elephants gathered together near a waterhole. Elderly matriarch, adult females, young adults, juveniles, and small calves all visible. Calm social interaction, gentle trunk touches, golden sunset, emotional conservation documentary, 4K. The oldest elephants carry years of experience, while the youngest represent the future. Protecting elephants means protecting an entire social system that has developed over generations. People working with nature. Peaceful African community landscape near elephant habitat. Show a positive relationship between people and wildlife. Natural daylight, realistic documentary photography, photorealistic, 4K. Successful conservation often depends on cooperation. Local communities, researchers, conservation organizations, and governments can work together to create solutions that benefit both people and wildlife. Hope for the future. Young African elephant calf walking confidently beside its mother through a healthy green savanna. Behind them, the larger herd follows. Birds fly overhead, trees move gently in the wind, warm sunrise light, hopeful cinematic wildlife documentary, photorealistic 4K. The future of elephants is not decided by one single event. It depends on many choices made over time: protecting habitat, preserving migration routes, supporting communities, and continuing to understand these remarkable animals. The next generation: young elephant calves playing peacefully beside a waterhole while adult elephants watch nearby. The calves run gently, touch trunks, and explore the shallow water. The family remains together in the background. Beautiful golden hour light, emotional but realistic wildlife documentary, 4K. If their habitats remain protected, young elephants can grow into adults and eventually become part of the next generation. The knowledge of today's elephants can continue through their families. A future worth protecting. Epic cinematic aerial shot of a huge elephant herd moving freely across an enormous African wilderness at sunset. Green grasslands, forests, rivers, distant mountains, and a glowing horizon surround the herd. Young calves remain close to their mothers. Premium nature documentary, photorealistic, cinematic 4K, 16:9. The story of the elephant is ultimately a story of survival. They have survived changing seasons. They have crossed enormous landscapes. They have learned from generations before them. And now, their future depends partly on the choices made by the world around them. Protecting elephants means protecting more than a single species. It means protecting the landscapes they travel through, the water they depend on, the forests and grasslands they share, and the generations that will come after them. The future is still being written. And somewhere across the African wilderness, an elephant family continues its journey.
If you enjoyed this journey into the world of elephants, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more incredible wildlife stories.